In this video, we're going to talk about my experience with Harbor Freight US General 44-inch wide, 22-inch deep, 13-drawer industrial roller cabinet. Before even considering Harbor Freight, I looked at some of the other boxes that are out there, Snap-on, Mac Tools, way too expensive. Found myself in a price range of like $400 to $500. And when I started closely looking at those boxes, each one had some issues with it. But I was surprised that Harbor Freight seemed to have the least. Their units are actually powder coated, not only on the outside, but on the inside. I mean, if you pull the drawers out, it's powder coated everywhere. There's not overspray. They actually did the unit inside and out. You definitely don't get that with the Husky, because I pulled that one open and saw the difference myself. The metal seemed thicker. The drawers all have liners, really nice lock. So in the end, I decided this was the product I was going to get. Of course, it's Harbor Freight, so you wait for the coupon. On a really good sale, you can probably get this unit, which sells for $4.99 down to about $4.29. I think I was paying like $4.39 with the coupon I had. Anyway, I got myself an F-150 from the local box store because this unit weighs 395 pounds. It comes in a bulky size, so it's not going to fit, at least not in my Prius. So this was the best way to transport it. Went to Harbor Freight. We went to load it in. They got a forklift. Before they loaded it, I asked if we could unbox it. They said absolutely. We unboxed the toolbox. I visually inspected for scratches, dents. Didn't see any. The wheels seemed like they were on straight. So I started pulling the drawers. They all worked nicely. I went to test the lock, and only the drawers on the right-hand side would lock, not the ones on the left. We determined that that wasn't the normal operating procedure for this cabinet. They offered to replace it, but they didn't have any in stock. So it would mean coming back a week later. I already rented the truck, so I didn't want to be out that expense. So the other option was to take the unit as it was with an additional discount. So Harbor Freight was willing to discount more than 10% on top of my coupon if I just took the box. The number was really nice, so I agreed to it. They loaded it in. Make sure you bring tie downs. You need to secure this load, otherwise it's going to shift on you. We get the box home. We get my neighbor to come over and make sure you have a plan for getting this thing off whatever vehicle you get it onto, because we didn't. One of us got hurt a little bit. You know, we took a big risk in having that box coming down off the pickup, that someone was going to get injured or we were going to severely damage the box. Just have a strategy, because even if you pull all the drawers out of it, it's still a really heavy box. Here's the box once we got it off the truck. And I know what you're thinking. Yeah, you got a great price on a defective box. Maybe. But I knew that I could probably fix the problem with this because it had to be mechanical. Yes, they have problems with QC, and that was evident by these pins that I found in most of the drawers. Initially, I didn't know what they were for, but they're the locking pins that go in the rails that we'll see in a moment. You see those two rails, those vertical rails in the back? That's what locks the drawers in place, and each of those has a pin in it. Notice the powder coating? It's red throughout the entire box. That's just really impressive. I didn't see this in all the other boxes I looked at. The only place they really couldn't get into was between the two sheets of metal in here. But otherwise, everything else is red. The rails are good quality. They're not the best quality, but they're not the cheapest either. Overall, well engineered, except for this rail. For some reason, maybe in shipment, it got loosened, and all the pins that are supposed to be in each of the rectangles has one pin in it. They all dropped out, and this rail separated from the back holder. This is what it should look like. There's a pin there, and you see there's like this sort of almost like a little half loop that holds this entire rail to the back rail, which is welded to the back of the cabinet. And double rails for the big drawers. Wheels are heavy duty. They're not the prettiest, but functional. Ball bearings in them. Brakes on 2 of the 4 wheels. You get a tubular lock that comes with 3 keys, something that Harbor Freight is known for. The one issue that I had, besides the drawers that weren't locking, is the liner on the top wasn't evenly cut. As you see, it's going at an angle. And obviously that's just QC and just really sloppy workmanship and something you think would be really easy to fix. And while it doesn't affect the function of this liner, it's just sloppy workmanship indicative of some of the issues that they're having. On the back of each of the drawers is the catch, and that's where that pin, the horizontal pin, drops into that enables the unit to lock or unlock the drawers. On both sides of the box, there's some holes punched in, and that's where the hand pull goes in. Each drawer has this really nice piece which allows you to put labels behind a piece of plastic or in front of it. So it's great if you want to label stuff. Here's a close-up of one of those pins that's fallen out. And again, in my case, they were just in each of the drawers had a pin or two laying around in it. But the pins go like this. And then this rail pushes up against the outside rail. And there's a little, like a spring tension clip that you can see sort of on the left-hand side right there. And that's what holds this whole mechanism together. And maybe it could be a better design. I don't know. I know it works when it isn't dislodged. And I thought I could easily push it in, but it's heavy gauge metal. So it took a little persuading. And what I ended up doing was using a screwdriver and a hammer to punch the top of the inside rail. And once I did that, everything else lined up. Now in this picture, this is after I got everything in. You see that I had used tape to hold the pins because I quickly discovered that when I was pounding that screwdriver, the pins would pop out. By using some tape, I was able to keep the pins from popping out. And when it snapped in, we were all set. Here's a view of the way it looks when the pins and the rails are properly assembled. There's still a piece of tape there. You see there's a little bend at the bottom left? Yeah, QC issue. But as you see, in turning the key, the rails right up and down and are fully functional. So I was able to fix the defect that got me a really nice discount. The only thing to assemble on the cart is the hand pull. And even that has a little bit of an issue, at least appearance-wise. There's some speckling on the chrome. It comes with 2 Allen screws, 5mm. You have to provide your own key. Sometimes Harbor Freight gives you additional parts. Those belong at the end of the drawers. Installing the handle is pretty easy. You just align the pin on the handle with the outside hole on both sides. And if they've punched them correctly, it should just drop in. And in this case, it did. Then you attach your 5mm Allen screw into the handle, one on each side. Tighten them down, and you're done. The cart only comes with one handset, so if you wanted to add another one, I think you're able to buy this as an accessory from Harbor Freight. Once the screws are in, it's very sturdy. You see they protrude into the inside of the cabinet, but totally clear the drawer. Again, I'm just really impressed by the fact that they sprayed everything in there is powder coated. It's just really nice workmanship. Putting in the drawers. I pulled all the drawers out. 1, to lighten the load when we took it off the truck. 2, so I could lube each of the tracks because I wanted them to feel a little bit smoother. You can, when you go to reinsert, you have to catch the inside track with the outside track of the box. And the challenge is that you're trying to do both at the same time. And what I found out worked fairly well for me was to actually pull the track out of the box part way, then engage it. And this is easier if you have 2 people. but I'm showing you just by myself. It can be done. It's just a little awkward. Then you slide the other track forward and making sure it rides into place. If you just slide in the drawer, your chances are really good that one of the tracks is not going to align properly, and if you're not careful, you're going to end up bending it. And if you follow this procedure, you'll get a nice and smooth pull and push on your drawer. In the end, Harbor Freight's quality control issues cost them money, but saved me money. Would I buy this box again? Absolutely. And I would do the same thing. I would open the box and check it out, make sure there are no issues with it. If there are issues, then negotiate. You might be able to walk out with a great deal on a box that maybe you can fix or that you can live with the said problem. If you found this video useful, leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up, please subscribe, and as always, thank you very much for watching.